Okay, talk a little bit about the Wyoming game. First of all, got a great deal of respect for Wyoming and their program. They play hard, they're coached well, and yeah, like I said, they're a well-run program and gave us all we could handle there, particularly in the first half. Speaking of the first half, we moved the ball up and down the field. In fact, we had 540 some odd yards of offense, and it was almost exactly split evenly in between halves, but drastic difference in the scoreboard. We just found a way to not finish drives in the first half and missed a few kicks, and consequently it was a tight game at halftime, 3-zip. But then in the second half, complete flip from what we did in the first half as far as finishing drives. The yardage again was about the same, 270 roughly in each half, but you got to finish drives, and that's what we did in the second half. And fortunately, our defense was good the entire night and kept us in the game when we were, struggling in the first half and not getting any points on the board. So very pleased with the defensive output. Special teams, we have some things to work on. We did do some good things. Kicked the ball well on kickoff out of the end zone. Didn't have to cover any kickoffs. One punt is all, and we did a good job on that rep. And so some good things, but certainly some things to work on. Excited about this week, Big 12 opener. Texas Tech coming to town. Got big noon kickoff coming. It's a great opportunity for not only our program, but for the university in general. Chance for our fans to showcase what Rice Eccles is all about. And the big noon kickoff show. I'm sure we'll have people that will attend that well and make have a good outing in that. But yeah, it's good. Our players deserve to play on this stage, and should be a great ball game. Texas Tech, phenomenal numbers on offense right now. Over 600 yards a game, nearly 60 points. Good on third down, good in the red zone. Balanced attack, rushing for over 200 and throwing for nearly 400. Really no weakness. I mean, they've had an outstanding start to their season, and should be a good football game, and our guys are looking forward to it. And so there we go. Questions?
Justin's got the first one. I've got it for you this time.
Okay.
So Justin says, Texas Tech is known for their talented players, up-tempo offense, and physical play. What is the one thing we need to do better this week against the Red Raiders to ensure a victory? And he also said, great win on Saturday.
Thank you, Justin. I would say pick up where we left off in the second half with finishing drives, getting the ball in the end zone. And if we can do that, that'll go a long ways towards our chances to win the game. Obviously, the turnover margin is crucial every single week. We've been fortunate enough to win the turnover margin the last couple weeks, and we did turn the ball over once on Saturday night, but we took it away twice. So when we win the turnover margin at +1, we're like 83% win percentage, and when it's +2 or better, it's like 90-something%. So that right there is very indicative of how important that is. And Texas Tech, yeah, they got a lot of good players. Obviously, they wouldn't be able to be doing what they're doing without a bunch of good players, and so they've done a nice job of assembling that roster and getting talent infused into the program.
Coach, you already talked about it, but with Fox coming to this game, what does it mean for your program specifically? Like, what sort of impact do you see with this nationally televised opportunity?
Well, just that. It's a nationally televised opportunity, and to have our program showcased on the big noon kickoff game is a big plus. And, we've had, big games here before, and so it's nothing new to us, but anytime you have a chance to get in front of a national audience and have people get a chance to see our stadium and our muss and our band and just the crowd and the hostile environment that it is a positive for us.
Kyle, Texas Tech spent roughly $25 million plus on this year's roster reportedly. I'm just curious, is that evident on tape when you see the type of talent that you have and kind of a broader picture of that? Is the spending in college football, I guess, adding to the talent disparity, and do you see that happening all across the board?
Well, they're certainly committed to winning, and I'm good on them for being able to attract those players and get the type of players in that they have. And is spending affecting the imbalance? I guess you'd have to say it is in a lot of respects, but there's a lot of programs out there that want to win badly, and like I said, if they have the support and all that, that's great. More power to them.
There's been multiple games where you guys have had double-digit plays in these long, extended drives.
Mm-hmm.
Is there an advantage to having those long, extended drives versus, short drives where you're pushing the ball down the field rather quickly? Or what are your thoughts on, would you rather have these long, extended drives, or would you rather push the ball down the field quickly and score faster?
I think there's an argument for both. As long as they end in touchdowns, that's the key. And so there's certainly a place to have those extended drives, give your defense a rest, wear out the opposing defense, control the ball, impose your will. Typically those longer drives have a lot of run aspect to them. And so being able to wear them down in the run game, that's a positive. Then, the quick strike, being able to strike quickly, is also positive, particularly if you have that ability in the end of half, end of game, and you need to make something happen quick. And so I think if you can do both, that's the ultimate. And we have had a couple, 19 and 20 last week play drives, which is pretty impressive. I don't know when the last time is we had 2 drives of that length in the first 3 ball games.
Kyle, 3 games into the season, how would you grade where Devin is right now, and where does he need to go to kind of reach that depth that you guys feel he needs to be?
Well, I give him an A+. I mean, not only is what he's doing on the field, but his leadership, his impact on the team overall. He's just been exactly what we hoped he would be, and he's without question one of our team leaders, and the players have embraced him. And so I think that we couldn't have asked any more from him to this point. He's completing the ball at a high rate. He's protecting the football. He's our leading rusher right now. So he's doing it all, and we just got to keep being intelligent with how we use him. But he runs the ball so effectively, and there's quarterbacks in the country that do run the ball effectively, and schools let him run. I mean, you can't just take that away from him. That's such a huge part of his game, and so. But you can hope that he'll stay out of harm's way as much as possible. There's some times where you can't do that, but I think to this point, like I said, couldn't have been any better than what he's done, and his numbers really speak to that.
3 games in, what are you liking from this offense, and where do you feel like you still need to improve?
Like the offensive line and how they're controlling the line of scrimmage. We expected that going into the season, and when you rush for nearly 300 yards a week, which is what we're doing, then that is a manifestation of good offensive line play. Tight ends are playing really well. I thought they've probably played their best game this last game. Dallin Bentley is becoming a very solid, reliable, consistent performer, both blocking and receiving. Hunter Andrews, you see what he does. I guess technically, I don't know if we can call him a tight end. He's an H-back or whatever he does, or how you want to term that. But he's a guy that is multifaceted, multi-talented, and you saw him really take over the game on Saturday, particularly in the second half with some big rushes, and he also added some catches as well.
Yeah, Coach, Big 12 starts this week, play for you guys. What did you learn in year 1 of playing in this conference?
What did we learn? Well, I think I've said it many times before. We weren't surprised by anything. It's not like we got into the schedule and we thought, wow, this is not what we expected. And so I don't think we learned anything that wasn't anticipated. It's a physical conference, a lot of high-powered offenses. It just what we thought it was going to be, it has turned out to be. How about that?
Coach, do you remember a start time this locally that was 10 a.m., and how do you prepare for that so they are ready to go peaking at that hour?
I think we have, to my recollection, Keeler, you probably could answer that better. I mean, you've only been here. Colorado? Here. Was that 10 o'clock? There.
Oh,
So you're talking just locally. We have had 10 a.m. starts.
Yeah.
It seemed like we did it at Air Force
do
one
you prepare
year.
differently for it?
You do things in the morning. We do things in the morning anyways, but we added a few things in the morning, eating breakfast at the same time as pregame meal will be, and trying to mimic that so their bodies, in the short amount of time that you do have, can acclimate as best you can to what's going to be happening on game day. But with our school schedule, we can't move practice from afternoon to morning. It's not conducive to the academic academics that our players have. So we'll just do a few things, but I think you make too big a deal out of something. I think we made too big a deal out of going to the swamp a couple years back, and we're, heating the indoor up and doing all kinds of things. And there's a point where, it just becomes more of a distraction than a help. So, but yeah, we will do a few things timing-wise to try to acclimate.
And then you look at Texas Tech statistically, it's pretty similar. They have a quarterback that's completing 70% of his passes, only one interception. They got three guys that are running the ball around 5 yards a carry. They got, offensively, they've put up a lot of points, not against elite talent. But do you see similarities between your two teams?
I think so. Yeah, both quarterbacks, as you mentioned, are playing very well, and their QB his passer rating is over 200. It's like 208 or something like that, which is really good. I mean, that's off the charts good. And they do run the ball. They got a physical offensive line. They got good size. Both tackles are 6'8", and got some tight ends. They typically are more so an 11 team than a 12 team. So you're going to see one back, one tight, three wides most of the time. But they will jump into some two tight sets and run the ball well. And they're, like I said, they're running the ball very effectively right now.
Kyle, Ryan Davis is number 3 in the Big 12 in total receptions through 3 games. What have you liked about him in terms of his emergence, and where you feel like you guys need to go further among the receiver group?
Yeah, he's been a real plus for us. He's a very dependable receiver, great hands, great routes. Not necessarily a guy that's going to stretch the defense and get behind everybody, but he's going to find the soft spots in the zones and work his way open. And he and Devin have a really good chemistry, as you might expect, playing last year together as well. And he's a guy that really, if there's a leader in the receiving room right now, I would say it is RD. Everyone looks to him and really respects how he works and how he comes to practice every day with the right mindset. And like you said, his numbers are really good, 3rd in the league or whatever. And so he's been a big part of our offense, and he certainly had a big impact Saturday night, 10 catches. And so, yeah, he's someone that we really have relied on.
Your scoring differential through the 3 games, I think, is 137 to 24. As a whole, did you get what you were looking for out of the non-conference schedule?
I think so, and I don't know what we're looking for is to win each week, and so that was the first objective, obviously. I think our players, other than the first half at Wyoming offensively, I think we've played some really good football, but we certainly understand the degree of difficulty goes way up this week, and we got to be ready to play. But the preseason, not the preseason, but the non-conference was, I think, a good tune-up for the season.
Kyle, is one of the benefits of this offense, is it creating an indecision in the defense as far as them knowing whether it's a run or a pass?
Absolutely. Yeah, putting them in conflict and a pickle, as Jason Beck likes to say, pickle the defense, and not only schematically within coverages, but by position. Put defensive ends, linebackers in situations where they can't be right. If they do one thing, we do this, and if they do the other thing, we do that. So that is a big part of it.
Coach, going back to the Wyoming game, there were multiple instances where you tried to make a defensive substitution. Did the refs give you an explanation, or has there been a change to the rule at all?
Well, for a minute there, we were wondering if there was a change to the rule because it wasn't as what we were used to, and they do this to open the window for sub. When the offense subs, they automatically do that. Look to the defense. It's a 3 count to see if you can sub or if you want to sub with them. And if you start that sub mechanic in the 3 count, then they keep it open until you get the guy on and off. And we kept getting it shut down once our guy got on, and they weren't given the window staying open for when he came off. And I really got no clear explanation on it, but I certainly brought it to their attention. And finally, we just stopped doing it because we couldn't figure out exactly what they were mechanically going to do with it, and so we just aborted that.
Kyle, you've talked so much about Devin's leadership. I'm just curious, how would you describe how he, I guess, kind of gets guys to follow him? And when did you first start noticing that when he transferred here in the spring?
Well, first of all, he's humble. He doesn't point fingers ever. If he points them at himself. If he's going to point a finger, he's going to point at himself. Never gets on guys in a, I don't know how to put it, just an antagonistic way. He's always very positive and upbeat. takes his own lineman out to dinner once a week, like I said, that's a great start to getting into those guys' good graces. But he's just such a positive, guy that is always patting his teammates on the back and complimenting them. And if something goes wrong, hey, that's on me, guys. Don't worry. Here we go. Just that type of guy, and the players really respect that and appreciate it.
So heading into this season, you guys put a big emphasis on havoc plays. How would you, on the defensive side, how would you assess defensive havoc plays through the first 3 games?
Not bad, not great. We're getting a few turnovers, takeaways here and there, not as many as we'd like. We like 3 a game. We're not averaging that. I think we've had 5 or 6 this season, and so we're not quite on pace there. Sack-wise, I think we're getting after the quarterback pretty good. John Henry Daly in particular, he's leading or tied for the lead, I think, in the country with 5 sacks, and so he's done a great job of getting pressure on the quarterback, and so that's and some people put TFL's tackle for loss in the havoc play column as well. We don't. We just go sacks and turnovers, and so I think we're doing a decent job, but it always could be better.
In Jason's offense, it seems like there's been a lot more positionless players, guys that can kind of fill different roles. Do you see that as an evolution in the sport? Or is that more of just kind of a wrinkle? And what advantage does that provide, having that with the system?
Well, that's a good question, and you're very observant, because that's exactly what he does. And what it does is puts D coordinators in a situation where, how do we treat this guy? Is he a wideout? Is he a running back? Is he a tight end? What exactly is the matchup going to be? And that in particular is a challenge for teams that have sub packages, that sub in and out with your different groups. Some defenses will play the same 11 no matter what you put out there, and it's not as big a deal to those guys. But those matchup defenses, it certainly causes problems, and how to identify the guy and how to categorize the guy. And you're right, he has and I've said it before, Jason has a really good feel for getting the most out of his guys and putting them in positions where they can do the things they do best, instead of asking a guy to do something that maybe is not his cup of tea. He does a great job of finding their role and maximizing that role.
With Rabbit Evans out, where do you think Nate Ritchie needs to improve in his game as he continues to start?
Yeah, Nate is a really good football player. Hasn't been as sharp at tackling as he needs to be the first few games. He knows that. We know that. But the flip side of that is always around the ball with the opportunity to tackle somebody who's got a great instincts and great nose for the ball. But losing Rabbit is a big loss. He's a terrific player, and it will be for the season. I can confirm that. It's a season-ending injury now. The silver lining would be that he will get a redshirt year and be able to come back for next year if that's what he desires to do. But he's just had some tough luck since he's been here. But Rabbit is a really good player. He'll be missed. But back to Nate, he's a seasoned vet. He knows the position inside and out. Just needs to be a little more efficient in his tackling. That's the area he really needs to work on.